By the way, for those who don't know, Shiko is into old school music, yeah? Like those 90s R&B, stuff like that. What are you jamming to right now? If it's 90s R&B. Because the other day you forced me to watch, was it Tamara, the Braxton one?
Yes, Tamar Braxton.
Tamar Braxton, yeah. That song, The One.
Yes.
That's the track you're jamming to right now.
Love that.
Any other ones?
Old school?
Oh, yeah.
I'm really always into New Edition.
New Edition.
Yes.
I saw Tamar Braxton and New Edition.
And Bobby Brown.
Come on. We are past Bobby.
No, and Bobby Brown.
Yeah. Sawa Basi. Are you nervous?
Yes.
This is the first time you're doing something like this?
Yeah. I've never done... yes, something like this. Well, I've been on a podcast. I was invited as a guest, but...
But you've never necessarily just,
I have never, no. So
okay. Sawa. So, welcome to... I don't know, we haven't yet found a name for our podcast.
Yeah.
So what should we call it?
Let's see. Let's see what the vibe of this first episode is, and then we go for
all right. Sawa. First things first, my name's Mike Mondo, and
my name is Shiko Guru.
And welcome to our podcast. We're still trying to find a name, so if you find it if you have any suggestions, feel free to give us a few. We don't mind. Why are you blushing?
It's weird because now this is like I'm hearing your radio voice in person.
Sounds good.
It sounds really good.
Sounds really good. So let's calm you down. So we've got some wine here and some drinks, so you can open your bottle of wine. Let me actually do that.
Yeah.
We calm down.
Yeah.
Before we start.
This is nerve-wracking for real. It's very...
It's not nerve-wracking.
I mean...
You're just feeling some type of way. I
feel
know
like
why.
You're unpredictable on radio.
Yes, I am unpredictable. We came here today to talk about us, basically. Yeah.
Did we?
I wanted to talk about us. Right now we're in what? We're in May?
Yeah.
We've got exactly 1 month before our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
You know that, right? Anniversary of how we first met. 1 year ago, did you think you'd be engaged?
Oh my gosh. No. 1 year ago, no, not at all. I mean, I could not have predicted how things have happened, the events that have occurred in the past year, no?
No, at all.
At all. I mean, I was praying for it, but you pray and you leave things in God's hands, and when they unfold, it's like, what?
When it happens, it happens.
I mean, yeah, that was my attitude, pray and leave it in God's hands, but I did not expect, things to happen.
I actually did not think so. I did not think I'd be engaged. I think 1 year ago, I was in a very tumultuous relationship.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to bounce, I wanted to chomoka. I didn't know how to. Funny enough, I was going to leave either way, but I was going to leave either way, that relationship. But I mean, it was easier knowing that Shiko was there.
Was it?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to ask you questions?
Yeah.
Okay, do you think if we had never met, you would have ended up being single in the timeline that you then became single? So when I met him, he was going through a lot of turmoil. And then after that relationship ended is when we started dating. But there was a period of turmoil. How do you think meeting me played into that situation?
It didn't actually. Like, my leaving had absolutely zero to do with you. You were just probably an added bonus. Let me put it that way. But I was tired of being in a serious relationship, but dealing with dramas that are childish, and issues that I think you should deal with when you're in your 20s and in relationships. And I was looking for something more mature and something more grounded, but I simply couldn't find it. So unfortunately, I had to go. So in fact, let's put it this way. In fact, I think we even jumped the gun.
We've started off with a lot of... I'm even shocked.
Yeah.
Started off a lot deeper than I thought it would. You're scaring me a little bit.
No, don't be scared. Let's do this. Let's start in the beginning. And we'll do this the way you always telling me when I come home and I tell you a story, you always go no, don't tell me now. Tell me play by play.
Context.
Context.
Yes.
That's what you always say. So it is June the 11th, right? And we start from when you saw a black BMW drive through.
Oh my gosh.
Because you were outside, remember?
I was outside my work and I knew we were doing something with the radio station he works
Classic
for.
105.
So my company was doing something in Classic 105, and I'm head of marketing where I'm at. So one of my team members was like, oh, the Classic guys are here. Let me bring the guy over to you. So before that, Mike had been copied in on a bunch of emails, but I had never met him. I'd never seen him. I had no idea what he looked like. I had listened to him on the radio a few times, but I didn't know anything. I didn't know what to expect. So then my team member walks up to me and she's with this guy, and then she introduces him to me. And that was the first time we met.
Well, you didn't have an instant
Oh my gosh.
tingriness?
When you walked up, you had a vibe, and then you said hello, and that first interaction, where we shook hands, I feel like in that moment I was like, okay. I didn't just okay. And then, yeah. What about you?
Now, let me be honest. That day, when I was coming to Caetano, first of all, it was the same day that Boys to Men was supposed to be performing in Nairobi. I was so hyped up about the Boys to Men concert. I was ready and all planned out how I'm going and everything. So coming for the gig on that day, for your event, felt a bit I have to go there, finish that, then drive back home. And I was living in Kiambu Road at the time.
Yeah.
Drive back home, then shower, change, and then now go to Uhuru Gardens. So I was there, but
you didn't
I
have psych
wasn't.
to come, just
I didn't have the psych or the morale. I was just waiting for the concert. But as you remember, I was turning up. I had something in my car, so I started pre-gaming while I was there. When I drove in, I saw you, and now that I know their names, I think one of your team members, you guys were fixing a teardrop, or was it a banner or something like
Probably,
that?
yeah.
And then I parked, and then I was like, I will admit, I had checked you out. I was like, hey, okay, who's that? So I had no idea. So I had heard the name Shiko, but I had no idea about you. I could not tell you that I had watched any of your content or seen any of the things that you'd done, but I knew of the name. So I was like, interesting. So I parked the car. Then I remember I walked past you guys into the reception and I said, hey, I'm from Classic 105. We're here for an activation. And then I was told to talk to one of the ladies at marketing. Then when I was leaving, I met one of your team members. And then she's the one who now brought me to you and was like, hi, this is Shiko Nguru, our marketing manager. And Shiko, this is Mike Mondo from Classic 105. And then one of your team members made a certain snide remark about my voice. Kumbe, that voice is real, like the one for radio and everything. And then we started laughing.
When you say hello in that introduction, your voice is deeper even than normal conversation. I would do it the way you greeted me that day.
She just said, hi, Mike Mondo, Classic 105.
Exactly. You put on this voice. So, of course, everyone is like, yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay, Mike Mondo.
So we started vibing. Shiko took me around showing me what exactly is happening. And she was telling me, oh, they've got Car Plus, they've got this, they've got that. And they told me everything about what was happening. And then after that, we took a picture, I think, with one of your colleagues. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
At some point, we talked about your tattoos. Remember?
Yeah.
I asked you, what are your tattoos all about? Because you had a shirt on.
Yeah.
That was sleeveless. So you explained to me about, how it's the names of your kids and all of that.
I remember at one point we talked about the tattoos, and then I told you so I have all my kids' names tatted on my arm. And Mike goes, can I ask you a question? Is there anything you don't like about motherhood or parenthood?
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
I felt that's such an intense question to ask someone you've just met. At that point, he had told me he also had kids.
Yeah, that I had two kids.
I just felt like, whoa, okay, that's intense, Mr. Mondo. I barely know you.
Yeah. And then there was that point where we talked about something involving how sometimes, as much as we love our kids, sometimes you can look at your kid and go
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I told you the thing I don't like is the non-stopness of it all. You don't get days off, you're constantly worrying or taking care of, or you have mom guilt when you're working. When you're at home, you don't have time to yourself. It's non-stop. I think that's what I said.
Yeah, I think I had a different view. I was like, hey, but it does get tiring. Sometimes you just need to like keep quiet, just shut it all out and not be a parent for a bit. And we really bonded on the parenting thing.
And we talked a lot. So he got to our event probably like 10 in the morning.
Yes.
And we talked nonstop until 3. And one of the things we talked about was the Boys to Men concert.
Yeah, you kept on saying, I can't believe I'm not going.
I didn't have tickets,
And
guys.
you didn't have tickets. So by then I was so intrigued by you at the time, and then I was like, I have to make sure she comes through for the Boys to Men concert. She can't miss it.
I really felt bad. I didn't have
Yeah.
tickets. Tickets were sold out. It was the day of Boys to Men. I mean, I just was feeling so sad.
Yes, you didn't have to feel bad. I told you, I remember telling you, I can get you tickets if you want to come. And you kept on going like, nah, I don't know, and blah, blah, blah.
Because, men in Nairobi are not trustworthy. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to like have high hopes for nothing. So I was like, yeah, okay, sure. But, I was convinced I wasn't going.
And you had also mentioned your birthday was coming up.
Yes.
You had also mentioned yours. So I
Yes.
told you, as a pre-birthday present, I will make sure you watch Boys to Men today perform live on stage. Shiko did not believe me at all.
Because he didn't have the tickets. I'm like, I don't care who you are or who you work for. I am pretty sure those tickets are unavailable. Like people were scalping tickets. People were selling their kidneys for tickets. So
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know who he thinks he is, but he's not getting tickets. And then he kept on saying, trust me. Don't
Just
you
trust me. Don't you trust me? Yeah, I told you you're going for Boys to Men. Don't you trust me? You will go. I remember, and I won't give you the tricks of a trade of how I got the tickets, but I made very many phone calls. Very many. In fact, I was on the call on my phone over and over and over and over. Eventually, this guy tells me, okay, fine, come get my ticket since I can't make it. Why don't you guys go in my stead? So I already had my tickets. That day, I remember I left your event,
Yeah.
your work event, and I told you, make sure you're ready by a certain time, and I'll pick you up. We were to meet at T-Mall. I'll pick you up from there. I went, I collected the tickets, and even as I had the tickets in hand and I was calling Shiko and asking her, so are you good to go? She'll be like, but it's not a must if you don't have the tickets. Like, you kept on doubting.
I was trying to let him off easy. I was like, this man might get high blood pressure trying to find me these tickets. At one point, he had said would go with some friends of his.
Yeah, we were supposed to go with some of my friends, but unfortunately, they had already gone. They went earlier because we were anticipating crazy traffic that day. So everyone was going to the venue earlier. So they had already gone. And so I went by and got Shiko and we took a nice drive to Uhuru Gardens. I think we passed by somewhere first. We got drinks somewhere and then we went.
Yes.
And then we stayed in the car in the parking lot just talking some more as we were turning up.
First of all, he had a really, really amazing playlist going in the car. It was 90s R&B. So when we got to the venue, I didn't even want to come out of the car. Like the music was so good. Like it was just vibes. The music was good. The conversation was good. So I didn't actually want to get out of the car when we got to the venue.
Yeah. So we got there, you finished your drinks, and then we were like, okay, let's go. Why don't we go in now? We walked in, and then that's when, we found out that we didn't have VIP tickets.
Which I was okay with. I was okay not being in VIP. I was
Yeah.
just happy to be there, y'all. Like, I was just like, I'm finally at the concert.
Yeah.
End of story. This man was like, no, we have to be in VIP.
I threw a tantrum at the gate.
Yeah.
A proper tantrum. Like, I was like, hell no. Kwanzaa, that's when I pulled clout. I was like, excuse me, I work for Classic 105. This is a Classic 105 event, and you're putting me where? And I'm the one who's been pushing the event on air. Are you mad? You're upgrading me. I threw such a tantrum. The guys at the ticket section just went like, okay, Mike. Get it. Cool. So they upgraded us into VIP. We made friends that time at around our desk. We joined a group of people who were kind enough to let us party with them. And then, whatever happened that night happened.
We had a lot of fun. And I think what I came away with, I remember like voice noting my bestie and saying, there's something about this guy. I don't even know what it is, but there's something there. But he has to get out of whatever he's in. Like, I don't want messiness. And I told you the same thing. I do not want mess. I am too grown for nonsense. Like, I remember one day I literally told him, but they don't call me again. Like, just leave me alone until you're not in a messy situation.
I think it wasn't necessarily the messiness that was the issue. I think because now that I know you in hindsight, it's like you're usually very protective of me. And I could tell you didn't understand why you still in that relationship. Why you still going through this? Why you still trying to, make this thing work? And obviously you're miserable. And I was miserable, by the way, extremely miserable. It's the first time I've never been in a relationship where I actually entertained the thought that, what if I died right now? All these problems would be done. All this would be over. And that, I think, is the one thing that scared me straight. That made me go like, oh, hell no. You've got 2 kids to think about. That can never happen.
And I think you're right. I mean, part of it was, this is scary. Like, to be honest, part of it was that hearing you so miserable, and here I am developing friendship. Like, I've grown to like you as a person, and hearing the amount of hurt you are in and what you are going through, like the specific things you are dealing with, it would break my heart because you tell me all these things and I can't tell you to leave. That's a new decision. So I would just be left with all of these sad feelings about what you're going through. So that was a huge part of it. Another one, it's like, what if this man is just offloading all these feelings on me, and then he'll turn around and be like, anyway,
bye.
Let me just, thank you so much for your time. So in my mind, I was like, look, this is a lot and I can't tell you what to do, but it is too much for me to go through it without being able to help you. Yeah.
And I remember even earlier on, you got pissed off at me that weekend after Boys to Men, and we talked all night. And then I didn't talk to you Sunday, and I think we talked again when? On Tuesday? Was it Monday?
I don't know when you reached out, but I had concluded men are obviously trash. So, like, by that time, I had been in the streets already for like almost 2 years. I was like, typical men being trash. Like, you think you have a connection with someone and it's just another 40-plus-year-old guy who wants a relationship like he's 21. A guy who just wants to talk and bond and then not text you during the week, and then you meet again over the weekend, you bond. Like, I was so done. Like, when he didn't text on Sunday, I was like, by the way, forget that story.
Yeah, but I did.
I like on Monday.
Yeah, it was Monday. When in fact I reached out and I said something like, hey. So like, because I was wondering why you're not texting me.
Excuse me.
Honestly, for real, I was wondering, like, I'm the one who's going to, the Ukraine war. And why isn't she asking how I am? And she knew all about my tumultuous situation.
For exactly that reason. You don't want to appear like you're meddling or adding fire to a situation. So I was like, it sucks what you're going through, but let me not be the one to hasten the demise of anything. Like, when you're ready to reach out. I'll be there for you. But then eventually that being there for you became too much, and I was like, look,
there was one time I came to see you, and then you told me, like, this is the last time you can see me.
Yeah.
Like this is done. Don't call me, don't text me, don't do nothing.
Yeah.
That day I walked out. I remember I went home, I had a drink. After I finished my drink, I went to bed because I had the breakfast show the next morning. Then I called Shiko at 5 in the morning or 5:30 a.m. in the morning. She's not picking up. Oh my word, I sent her a long message. Those paragraphed ones. For like, hi Bana, no, it's not ending like this. And then eventually she picked up. And then we had a talk before I did the show. And then you said, okay, then we can keep talking.
Yeah, like, we can continue talking, but I want you to know, like, this is really hard for me. Like, this situation is not sustainable, basically. But, I care about you enough to be on the other end of this phone and to be there for you.
Were you ever scared at any point, like, this guy is just going to get tired one day and just say, you know what, I'm out?
Of course. First of all, when you're dating at our age, that's always a fear, because you're meeting someone who, like you, has had broken relationships. So you can't fool yourself into thinking it's not a possibility. Firsthand, I know firsthand, relationships end, and I know the same for you. Like, you've also experienced relationships that have ended. So in the beginning, I think there's a lot of fear. Like, what if he changes his mind and now I've caught serious feelings?
Did you know when you've caught serious feelings?
We would talk, when I tell you, for hours.
Like, I'd be in studio, I'm doing the show, and we are just vibing. We are talking on WhatsApp. And oh my God.
Or even like phone conversations. The last time I had conversations that long. I was in high school. It was a
Yeah.
high school boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like, we would talk for literal hours. But I was asking him, what kind of plan are you on? How do you have so many minutes?
So much and I kept on telling you, why don't you join Postpaid? Join Postpaid. And you're like, I don't know. Well, good news now she has, so I'm happy.
True. But we used to talk for like 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
Every day. I'm not even joking.
And the random visits I'd make to your office.
Yeah, and he used to come to my office randomly, like to bring me cookies or, oh, I finished the show, let me pass by. Meanwhile, our offices are so far apart, there was no passing by. Like, he would make the long trek.
Westlands to all the
So
way.
I think by that time we both knew this is
I would go steal her and then take her to, is it Ole Sereno?
Yeah.
Remember when we went for cocktails up there, and then we had cocktails. Please note this is during the day.
Yeah.
And then drop her back at work.
So I think it's that, like, knowing that you can't get enough of this person. That's how I knew that these are like for real feelings. It's like we couldn't get enough of each other.
Oh, remember I used to also leave work and then come to your house at the parking lot, because then I hadn't met the kids yet.
Yeah.
And then we would sit in the car and just have a drink in the car. Parking lot pimping, that's what we called it.
Yeah. And that's after talking for like 4 hours during the day.
The whole day.
And then sit in the parking lot and talk. And I think, like those are the things that were like, these are real feelings developing. But yes, of course, then I hadn't let you meet the kids. I hadn't met your kids either. Because, I mean, if you've been dating when you're a single mom or a single dad, you don't rush that. Like, that's something that comes later on.
Exactly. Yeah, but it was a great experience. That's, by the way, how we met. And now it's a year later.
Yeah.
June 11th is going to be 1 year since we first met.
Yeah.
A lot has happened. We are engaged.
Yes.
We've moved into a house together.
Yes.
Wow. We're getting married soon.
Very soon.
Oh my word. 1 year, the number of things that can happen.
It's been a whirlwind. You're a guy. I always say that there's a pandemic of men over 40 who are just not willing to be in relationships. It's not like they're not ready. It's like they never will be. They're very happy to be just in situationships, plenty of them.
But then that's the danger, in my opinion, the danger of getting into very serious relationships at very early ages in life. When you get seriously involved with someone, let's say in your early 20s, and you keep going up from one serious relationship to another. Over time, what happens, especially to guys, is that you feel like you've seen it all. And the aspect of any relationship you're going into, you'll always know that, this one I know where it's ending. I exactly know where it's ending. It's going to end up like this. This woman is going to bounce like this, or I'm going to do something nasty and this is all going to get over and done with. A lot of men over 40 are just tired and done.
And jaded.
Yeah, true. For me, I'm a different species. I've got an idea in my mind of how I want my old age to be. I have an idea of what I want for my children, and I'm going to work towards that, regardless of how many haters I've received over the years because of, dating and trying to get that idea right. But the one thing that I'm thankful for is that being in my 40s, my level of patience is much more than it was before. Any small thing. Give me a small reason to bounce and I can tell you for free, I'll bounce.
Ooh.
Yeah. When I was in my 20s.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying now.
In my 20s and early to mid 30s. That's, I think, how I was. Any small reason and I'd leave.
Okay, because what I was going to ask you, someone might hear that it's been a year since we met and now we are engaged, living together. I know I get this question, so I'll answer it for myself. But for you, given my opinion of men over 40 and how they just do not like to commit, what made you sure that you were ready to commit, given past failures in relationships, even one as recent as the one you had been through? So what for you made it not too scary or not too daunting, or you weren't too jaded? Why were you ready to love again and commit again so fast?
Because I think maybe for the most part, the example I was set for by my folks. I think I've told you this before. I've never seen my mom with another guy other than my late father. Ever. Not once, not in passing. And I've always asked myself, what kind of love was that? Sometimes I used to call it messed up love was that. Because My dad died when my mom was around your age. Yeah, you can imagine, she had 4 boys.
Yep.
Young boys. She could have easily remarried. Yeah, never happened. Always, to this day, she talks so highly about that man. And in my head, I always tell myself, I want that. That's what I want, and I'm going to get that by hook or by crook. Yeah, but now to find people who have that level of commitment in life today, it's really hard.
Yes.
It's really, really hard. I'm telling you right now, by the way, a lot of ladies, let me tell you, God forbid something happens to you. Your man moves on in under 6 months and you've been married for 20 years. He's already replaced, someone else has come into the picture. I don't know if it's the same for women, but I think it's harder for women to move on. I mean, you can imagine being with someone and having all these kids and then someone else coming into your life. For the most part, I think ladies try to protect themselves and their family and their peace and all of that. So they may have a relationship or two, but it will remain just that, a relationship, and never graduates. I think for you, you're one unique species because you made it a requirement. You told me, Mike, don't you play with me?
Yeah, because nobody got that time.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that. So you are saying you've always wanted a forever love, a stable
Yes,
love, a mature
yes.
love. So it wasn't hard for you because
No.
it's what you've always wanted, just that you've not gotten it in the way you want until now.
Yes, and you know me well enough to know how stubborn I am. When I want something and I really want it, I will keep trying until I get it. Once I get it, now now I can say, okay, fine, achieved. Let's move. Let's keep going.
Did you have a list like the way I had a list? Did you know
No.
did you know that this is gonna be the forever one? Like, how would you know that?
I usually have a gut feeling.
Okay.
Like, for instance, it was easy to propose to you because it was a no-brainer.
Wait, have you ever proposed to anyone
Never.
else? Okay.
I've never proposed to anyone else. You're the first person in my life.
Have you ever bought a ring and not an engagement ring?
Not an engagement ring.
Okay.
But just as a piece of jewelry, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have done that in the past, which was biggest mistake ever, but so. The ring accidentally disappeared one day. But that being said, I've never proposed. This was the first time I proposed. You picked the ring, had it imported.
Yes.
Wow.
But gut feeling, let's go back to that. So you're saying yours was a gut feeling.
Yeah, when you know, you know. Let me tell you, men know a lot of things. A lot of people take men for granted. When they know they're going to settle down with someone, they know. They absolutely
I will say that again.
know.
So all these 40-something-year-olds playing around with situationships,
they're playing around.
They just haven't met.
They haven't met that person who makes them feel like, oh, who you?
Ooh, that's a hard truth.
Can I tell you the fact of the matter? If a man really knows, really knows, you won't finish this 2024.
Ooh.
He'll have put a ring on it and put a baby inside you.
Ooh, okay, well.
Quick, fast.
One or the other, not
Yeah.
necessarily
In fact,
both.
It's a running joke among men when they say things like, huyo simwachile, in fact, mpatie ball sahi.
Excuse.
Like it's a thing. So let no man lie to you. A guy who's, for example, been with you, engaged to you for over, I don't know, 1 year, 2 years, and you're still engaged. Bro.
Or not engaged at all.
Or even
You're
not
just-
engaged at all. And you want to settle down. You want
Yeah.
that marriage, that relationship, that family. He knows. If he doesn't know, then he'll prolong it for as long as he can while he keeps testing the waters.
Honestly, it's only at this age where I can say when you know, you know. But even then, for me, I got married when I was 22. I didn't know anything, but I can only say that in retrospect.
Yeah.
Right? What did I know about anything?
Nothing. In fact, if you're 22, what are you doing getting married?
I was engaged at 21. I definitely didn't know anything. I mean, I had literally just finished college. So that marriage, I think, ended purely because I was a child and I didn't know what I was saying yes to. I wanted stability. I was in the US. I just needed the stability, pretty much. And the place that I lived in, it was a running joke. Like after, the year of your senior year of uni, you get your MRS degree, your Mrs. degree. Like you get a ring on your finger. It was like ring by spring of your senior year. I did not know anything, ultimately. And then, so someone might ask, how do you know now? So that time I admit I didn't know. My second major relationship, which happened within a year, so I was married for 7 years, single for 2 years, in another relationship for 6 years. I've basically been in 2 relationships since I was 18, and I'm 38.
She said her age.
I'm very proud of my age. So 18 to 38, that's 20 years.
Yeah.
I've been in 2 relationships, 2 long relationships. And so a question I get a lot is, how do you know this one? I mean, honestly, like by now you should be so jaded, which a lot of men and women are, you know.
Yeah.
But what I'm feeling is that you learn from the
you have
past.
to unlearn and learn.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of things.
So I've learned and unlearned a lot. And for the first time in those 20 years, I went to a super Christian uni, but I can honestly say for the first time in 20 years, that we have put God at the center of this relationship.
Yeah.
So it feels different. I had a pact I made with God. I've talked about this a lot, where when I was single this past time during those 2 years in the streets, I was like, look, God, you're going to have to take every man who is not for me away from him. Like, just make him act a fool, give him like another chick, like just take them away from me. And only bring the one that you want for me. And so I made a list and I was like, this is only me and you, God, know about this list. If he has all of these things, then I'll know he's from you. Then it'll be like our little secret. I'll be like,
How many items did I tick off the list? I remember you told me this once.
I did. I still have the list. So in case you start dropping in things, in case you start losing points, I can be like, you had a lot.
I must have made it to over half.
I call it my burning bush man because Moses and the burning bush, like he needed a sign and God gave him a sign he couldn't miss. So I was like, when you bring me a man, I need a sign and it has to be a sign that I can't miss.
Yeah.
You want me to read them out?
Yeah, go ahead.
Knows how to speak my love languages. Family focused. Titan of his industry or master of his craft. Sexually attractive to me. Intelligent and goal oriented. Thoughtful and kind about my life, my emotions, my goals, my problems. Generous with his time, energy, and money. I decided I'm going to say everything I want, like as trivial as it seems.
There you've chopped it.
Mature, emotionally stable, and self-aware. Doesn't need me to get pregnant or have his babies.
Amen.
Amen.
We are not doing any more of that.
Listen, and as dating at 38, you still find men who want you to have their babies, and you're like, bro, that ship done sailed. Okay, 100% single. 100% what?
Single.
And wants a committed relationship. Wines and dines me.
Look at her.
As I glance down at the bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Christian. Then no addictions. And then tall, over 6'3".
Oh my God.
Or has neck tattoos. So that's the one Mike didn't get.
I didn't get that. Yeah.
Over 6'3". Oh, and at the time you were addicted to smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
So those were the two. He was addicted to cigarettes and he doesn't have neck tattoos yet.
Yeah, I'm not having any tattoos. I told you about my threshold for pain.
And he's not 16. Anyway, so that's a list only me, God, and my best friend knew. So I was like, if I meet a guy who meets, I was even like 70%, I'll know he's from.
So do you think guys should have lists too?
I think everyone should know exactly what they're looking for. Like go into a relationship focused on what you need. Like you knew you needed someone who could play the role of a nurturer, a caregiver, like a wife.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a written list, but I think everyone needs to go in knowing exactly what they want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in which case, as long as you're getting what you want, you shouldn't be judged for any of it. Like, you're looking for a trophy wife, by all means, please go ahead, get yourself a trophy wife. If that's what you want.
Right.
If you want someone who's mature, you start a family with and raise your kids and also get that. That's okay.
Do you?
At the end of the day, when you know, you will always know. And for some reason, there's just a gut feeling inside you and you will know. Yeah.
Maybe that should be the name of the podcast. If you know, you know.
Anyway, but you can share, of course, any thoughts you have for the name of this podcast. As of right now, we are still in the market. In the meantime, it's just Mike and Shiko. Keep it that way for now, but one day the name might change. And also, don't forget to share the podcast. Make sure you share it with your friends, with your family, and let's all sit back together and have grown conversations with two grown folks as we navigate this life that is so crazy nowadays. I hope we end up making it through someday and sit down as old people.
You know.
But not in your homesteading area. Yeah, so. All right, catch you then next time. It's been a pleasure having you with us. Find us, by the way, on Instagram, Shikonguru. And for me, it's Mike_Mondo. And of course, let's have a chit chat. Have a great day.